Rain dripped from the rusted roof of the old storage yard as Sam leaned on his cane, his dog Baxter pressed against his leg. The auctioneer's voice echoed across the lot, calling out numbers no one cared about. Most of the units were filled with junk, broken furniture, moldy clothes, forgotten dreams. Sam wasn't supposed to be here. He had $38 left in the world, a half-empty can of beans in his backpack, and the loyalty that barked whenever he coughed. Baxter looked up at him, eyes tired but trusting. "Yeah," Sam muttered. "I know. Crazy idea." He'd wandered into the auction by accident, or maybe fate had pushed him there. People in baseball caps and work boots shouted bids like they were gambling with spare change. Sam stood apart, shivering in his torn coat. He wasn't one of them. He wasn't supposed to have hope. Yet when the auctioneer banged his gavel on Unit 117 and no one raised a hand, Sam's heart skipped. "Anyone? Come on. Folks, $30, just to start." Silence. Then Sam's voice, rough as gravel. 38. The crowd turned. Laughter rippled. "You buying trash, old man?" someone jeered. The auctioneer shrugged. "Sold to the gentleman with $38. His voice dripped with sarcasm, but Sam didn't care. For the first time in years, he'd bought something, not food, not a drink, but a chance. Baxter barked once, as if approving the madness. The lock clicked off, and the door creaked open. A cold gust of mildew and dust rushed out, thick and heavy. Inside, the dim light revealed nothing but shadows and forgotten shapes. Old boxes, a broken chair, a fridge with its door hanging open. It looked worthless. But something about the silence felt wrong. Sam stepped inside, his boots crunching on glass. The smell of rot mixed with something metallic. Baxter sniffed the ground, whining softly. "Yeah, smells like death," Sam muttered. He pulled out a small flashlight from his coat. It barely flickered. He swept the beam across the room, revealing spiderwebs, a rusted bicycle, and an old trunk wedged behind a collapsed shelf. The wood was dark, carved with strange marks. Baxter growled. "Easy, boy," Sam whispered. "It's just wood." But the moment he touched it, a strange shiver ran through his arm, not from fear, but recognition. The trunk's lock was old, iron, and fused with rust. Sam gripped it and pulled. It didn't budge. He laughed softly. "Figures. Even trash doesn't come easy." He searched the unit, found a bent crowbar, and jammed it under the latch. With a groan, the metal gave way. The lid opened with a sigh, as if releasing years of silence. Inside were stacks of papers tied with faded string, a few old photographs, and something glinting beneath a key. Baxter sniffed the air again and barked once. Sam frowned. "What is it, boy?" He lifted one of the envelopes. The handwriting was elegant, almost delicate. "Property of Eleanor Reeves," it read. Sam's heart jolted. He'd heard that name before years ago, back when he still had a home. She'd been a real estate magnate, one of the wealthiest women in the city. But she'd vanished after a scandal, something about stolen property and missing deeds. Sam sat down on a dusty crate, the paper trembling in his hands. What the hell is this doing here? He opened the first letter. The ink was smudged, but the words were clear enough. If you're reading this, then the truth has been buried long enough. The key unlocks what they took from me. Trust no one. Sam frowned. The key? He picked it up heavy. Brass, engraved with the number 12. Baxter wagged his tail, nudging his leg. "You think this is worth something," Sam muttered. The dog barked again, as if to say definitely. The rest of the storage unit was junk, broken vases, old newspapers, a doll missing its head. But those letters, they felt alive, like whispers from another time. Sam stuffed them into his backpack, along with the key. As he turned to leave, the light outside dimmed. A shadow crossed the doorway, someone watching. Sam froze. "Can I help you?" he called out. No answer, just a faint sound of gravel shifting. When he stepped outside, the lot was empty. He and Baxter found shelter that night under an old overpass. Rain hammered the concrete, and traffic roared above. Sam laid out the papers and tried to piece together the puzzle. Most of them were property deeds, dated decades ago, all signed by Eleanor Reeves. But one caught his eye. A transfer form marked "Revoked." Someone had stolen her estate before she disappeared. Sam rubbed his temple. "This ain't my business," he whispered. Baxter whined softly, curling up beside him. Yeah, I know. But what if it is?" Morning came gray and cold. Sam packed up his things, slinging his torn backpack over his shoulder. "Come on, boy," he said. "We got some digging to do." He headed downtown to the public library, a place he hadn't set foot in for years. The warmth and quiet made him uneasy. He scrolled through public records, tracing the name Eleanor Reeves. She'd owned half the city once and lost it overnight. No death record, no family, just a trail of vanished wealth. As he left the library, a woman in a gray suit brushed past him, dropping a folder. He picked it up automatically. "Hey, miss." But she was already gone. He looked down. The folder was labeled Reeves Estate Holdings. His stomach twisted. Coincidence? Or something else? He slipped it into his bag and hurried outside, his pulse quickening. Baxter barked once, tail stiff. They both felt it, the air shifting, danger circling. They spent the rest of the day in the park, sitting near the fountain. Sam read through the new papers. They mentioned a storage network, dozens of units registered under aliases. Unit 117 wasn't random. It had been one of Eleanor's. "She hid something," he murmured, "and somebody doesn't want it found." Baxter growled softly. "Yeah," Sam said grimly. "I got that feeling too." That night, as they made camp behind a diner, headlights swept across the alley. A black sedan slowed, then stopped. Two men stepped out, dressed too well for this part of town. "Evening," one said. His tone was polite, but his eyes weren't. "You recently purchased a storage unit?" Sam stiffened. "Who's asking?" "Someone who'd like to buy what you found." The second man smiled thinly. "We'll make it worth your while." Sam's hand drifted toward Baxter's collar. "Not for sale," he said. The man's smile faded. "Wrong answer." He stepped closer, but Baxter growled, teeth bared. "Call off your mutt," the first man snapped. "He doesn't like liars," Sam said. "You should probably leave." For a moment, no one moved. Then the men exchanged a look and backed off. "We'll be seeing you, Mr. Turner," one said before getting into the car. The taillights vanished into the rain. Sam let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. "Bax," he muttered. "We're in deep again." The dog wagged his tail, unconcerned. Sam chuckled. "Yeah, you're right. One mess at a time." He opened another envelope from the storage, this one smaller, with a map inside. It showed the outskirts of the city, an X marked near the river. "Guess we're going treasure hunting." The next day, they followed the map. It led them to a forgotten industrial district, rusted warehouses, and cracked asphalt. The building at the end of the road looked abandoned, its sign barely legible. Reeves & Co. Shipping. Baxter barked once, sniffing the air. Sam frowned. Smells like trouble. He tried the door locked. Then he pulled the brass key from his pocket. The number 12 gleamed faintly. He hesitated only a moment before sliding it in. The lock clicked. Inside, the air was heavy with dust and silence. Shafts of light cut through broken windows, illuminating stacks of old crates. Sam moved slowly, flashlight trembling in his hand. Something metallic glinted in the corner, a safe half buried under debris. Baxter barked, tail wagging. You got good eyes, boy, Sam said. He knelt beside it. The same, carving an R inside a circle. Reeves again. The safe had no keypad, just a slot for a key. Sam inserted the brass one. It fit perfectly. The mechanism clicked once, then twice. The door creaked open. Inside were stacks of bound papers, gold coins wrapped in cloth, and a velvet box resting on top. Sam opened it and froze. Inside was a necklace, simple but stunning, engraved with the initials E.R. His breath caught. Baxter whined softly, sensing his disbelief. He sat back, heart pounding. You're telling me all this was sitting here for decades? He whispered. He looked at Baxter. We just hit the jackpot, huh? The dog wagged his tail, panting happily. But then Sam noticed something else, a motion sensor light flickering red on the wall. His smile faded. Oh no. He grabbed the papers and the necklace, shoving them into his bag. Time to go. As they stepped outside, a black SUV turned the corner, headlights slicing through the rain. Sam tightened his grip on Baxter's leash. Guess they found us, he muttered. Baxter growled low. Sam looked back at the warehouse one last time. Come on, boy, he said, running into the night. Looks like the adventure's just getting started. Rain turned the streets into rivers of silver as Sam and Baxter ducked into an alley. The SUV's headlights swept past, then vanished into the mist. Sam leaned against the wall, panting. They're not just after the gold, he muttered. Baxter whined, ears flat. Yeah, I know. Whatever's in these papers, it's bigger than both of us. He opened his backpack, pulling out the bundle of documents. They were water-stained, but legible deeds, contracts, and one letter with a familiar signature, Eleanor Reeves. He frowned. The name kept following him, like a ghost refusing to stay buried. He remembered the woman from decades ago. She'd built half the city's skyline, then vanished overnight. Back then, he was a mechanic working on one of her buildings. She'd once brought coffee to the workers. No cameras, no bodyguards, just kindness. He'd never forgotten that. If this really belonged to her, he whispered. Baxter nudged his leg. Then maybe, Sam said slowly, I'm not supposed to keep it. Maybe I'm supposed to finish something she couldn't. The thought scared him more than the men chasing him. They spent the night hiding behind an abandoned diner. Sam couldn't sleep. Every sound, every car, every echo made him flinch. He laid out the letters again. One envelope, sealed with wax, had never been opened. He hesitated, then tore it gently. Inside was a note, written in elegant cursive. If I don't return, whoever finds this must deliver it to my heir. It's the only proof left of what was stolen. At the bottom, an address. Sam's pulse quickened. We're delivering something, Bax, he said quietly. Guess we're mailmen now. The address led to the north side of town, a place he hadn't seen in years. Tall glass buildings, clean sidewalks, people who wouldn't look at him twice. As he walked past, holding Baxter's leash, people stared. His torn coat and dirt-covered face drew whispers. He ignored them. "Keep walking, buddy," he muttered. But when they reached the address, Sam froze. The building's sign gleamed in gold letters. Reeves Foundation for Community Development. Her foundation, he murmured, is still alive. Inside, the lobby was marble and glass. A receptionist glanced up, her smile faltering at the sight of him. "Sir, can I help you?" Sam cleared his throat. "I'm here to see whoever runs this place. It's about Eleanor Reeves." The woman's expression shifted. "She's been gone for years." "Yeah," he said softly, "but maybe her story isn't." Before she could respond, a tall woman appeared, elegant, confident, with the same green eyes. Sam remembered. "I'm Margaret Reeves," she said. "Eleanor was my grandmother. Who are you?" Sam swallowed hard. "Name's Sam Turner. I bought a storage unit. Found something that belongs to you." Her brow furrowed. "You mean her old things?" "No," he said. "Her truth." He handed her the bundle of letters. As she scanned them, her expression changed shock, disbelief, then tears. "These are her original property deeds," she whispered. "They were stolen before she disappeared. My family's been fighting for decades to prove ownership." Sam nodded slowly. "Looks like you just got your proof back." Margaret looked up at him, trembling. "Where did you find this?" "Unit 117, out by the old storage yard. Bought it for $38. 38. She laughed softly, wiping her eyes. "You have no idea what you've done. This could restore everything she lost." "Ma'am," Sam said gently, "I didn't do it for money." "Then why?" she asked. He glanced down at Baxter. "Because she once bought me lunch when I couldn't afford to eat. Guess I owed her one." Before she could reply, the glass doors burst open. Two men in black suits stormed in the same ones from the SUV. "Mr. Turner," one said coldly. "We'll take it from here." Margaret stepped forward. "Who are you?" "Security contractors." The man lied smoothly. "He's been carrying stolen property." Sam stepped between them. "Funny," he growled. "You didn't care about the law last night." The men reached inside their jackets, but Baxter's bark thundered through the lobby. The whole room froze. Margaret raised her voice. "Get out. Now. I'll be calling the police." The men hesitated, then glared at Sam before leaving. She turned to him. "You weren't kidding. Told you they wanted this bad," he said. "But now you've got what they were after. Keep it safe." She shook her head. "You're not going anywhere. If they're watching you, they'll come back." Sam frowned. "I can handle myself." "Maybe," she said softly, "but you won't have to not this time." She offered him a guest room in the Foundation's staff housing. It felt strange, sleeping in a real bed again. Baxter curled up on the rug, sighing contentedly. Sam lay awake, staring at the ceiling. "What are we doing, boy?" he whispered. "We're no heroes." Baxter snored in response. Sam chuckled. "Yeah, you're right. Maybe just lucky idiots." But deep down, he knew luck had nothing to do with it. Morning brought more trouble. The police arrived, claiming to investigate a break-in at the Reeves warehouse. Sam told them what he knew, leaving out the part about the safe and the coins. Margaret backed him up, but when they left, she looked worried. "They knew details I never gave them," she said. "Someone inside is leaking information." Sam nodded grimly. "Then it's not over yet." They decided to move the documents to a secure location, a law firm handling the Reeves estate. Sam volunteered to help transport them. "You've done enough," Margaret said, but he shook his head. "Started this, might as well finish it." They loaded the boxes into her SUV and drove downtown. Baxter rode in the back, nose pressed to the window. For a brief moment, it felt almost normal, like a family road trip, minus the gunman. Halfway there, Sam noticed the same black car in the mirror. "We've got company," he muttered. Margaret's knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. "What do we do?" "Keep driving," he said. "I've got a plan." He told her to turn down a side street, leading toward the old shipyard. The car followed, closing fast. "You trust me?" he asked. "I don't even know you," she said, "but yes." He grinned. "Good enough." As they reached the dock, Sam jumped out with Baxter and waved his arms. "Hey!" he shouted. The car screeched to a stop. Two men stepped out, guns drawn. Margaret gasped, but Sam raised his hands. "You want the papers, right?" he said. "Come get 'em." They advanced cautiously. That's when Baxter barked and darted behind the crates just as Sam kicked a loose oil drum down the slope. It smashed into their car, sending one man tumbling. The other fired, but the bullet ricocheted off metal. Sam lunged forward, tackling the shooter. The gun skidded away. The man swung, but Sam blocked and hit back, years of survival sharpening every move. The second man crawled to his feet, aiming again until Baxter bit his leg, dragging him down. "Good boy," Sam shouted. Within seconds, the fight was over. Both men were groaning on the ground. Margaret ran to him, shaking. "You could have been killed." He smiled faintly. "Wouldn't be the first time." They called the police. This time, real officers arrived, and the Reeves documents were safely transferred to the law firm. Margaret insisted Sam come with her. "You're not going back to the streets," she said firmly. "You'll stay with us until this is done." Sam hesitated. "I don't belong in your world, ma'am." "You belong wherever decency does," she replied. And that's here. Over the next few days, news broke. The Reeves family had regained control of their stolen estates. Headlines called it "The City's Lost Legacy Restored." Reporters swarmed the foundation, asking how the papers were found. Margaret told them the truth almost. "A man found them," she said. "A man who reminded us that integrity isn't defined by wealth." She refused to name him, but the city buzzed with curiosity. Sam stayed mostly out of sight, watching from the sidelines. He didn't crave recognition. But one evening, Margaret joined him on the foundation's balcony. "You could have sold that storage find for millions," she said. "Why didn't you?" Sam shrugged. "Didn't seem right. Some things belong to the people who earned them." She smiled. Smiled for Ondas. Talks. "Then maybe it's time someone earned something for you." The next morning, she handed him an envelope, an official document with his name on it. "Deed transfer," she explained. "A workshop and small apartment on the east side. You deserve a place to start over." Sam's eyes misted. "Ma'am, No, ma'am," she interrupted gently. "It's Margaret." He smiled faintly. "Then thank you, Margaret, for believing in someone the world forgot." That night, Sam stood in his new workshop, Baxter sniffing every corner. The city lights glowed outside the window. On his workbench lay the old brass key, the necklace, and one of Eleanor's letters. He ran a hand over them and whispered, "Guess we both got our second chances, huh?" Baxter barked once, tail wagging. Sam smiled. For the first time in years, he didn't feel lost. He felt home. Weeks passed, and life slowly began to settle. Sam fixed old radios in his workshop, cleaned tools, even built a small dog bed for Baxter out of scrap wood. The quiet suited him. For the first time in years, no one was chasing him, no one calling him names. Still, every night he'd take out the box he'd found in the warehouse, the one holding Eleanor Reeves's letters. Something in them still haunted him. They felt unfinished, like a story cut short. One evening, under the dim light of his desk lamp, he decided to read the last one again. It was written in shaky handwriting, dated 3 days before Eleanor disappeared. If they take everything, they'll still never find what truly matters. The necklace is only a key. The truth lies beneath the city where the first foundation stone was laid. Sam frowned. Beneath the city? He looked at the necklace again, the small golden pendant engraved with ER. You're telling me this thing opens something? Baxter tilted his head as if to say, You really gonna follow that clue? Sam chuckled. Yeah, boy. Guess we're not done yet. The next morning, he visited Margaret at the foundation. Your grandmother's letter mentioned something under the city, he said. Any idea what that means? She frowned, thinking. Eleanor built the first Reeves building downtown before the skyscrapers. There's an old sub-basement beneath it. It's sealed off now. Sam nodded. Maybe that's where she hid whatever they couldn't steal. Margaret hesitated. You've done enough, Sam. You don't need to go digging up the past. He smiled faintly. Sometimes the past digs up you. That evening, Sam and Baxter stood outside the old Reeves Tower. The building loomed over them, its lower floors closed off by rusty fences. Rain began to fall again. It always did when fate called. Sam cut through the chain, flashlight in hand. The lobby smelled of dust and time. Stay close, boy, he whispered. They found the basement entrance behind a locked metal door. The necklace fit perfectly into a slot beside the handle. When it clicked open, Sam exhaled. Well, I'll be damned. The stairs spiraled deep into darkness. Every step echoed like a heartbeat. At the bottom, the flashlight revealed a small chambered concrete walls, old crates, and in the center, a pedestal draped with cloth. Sam pulled it away, revealing a sealed metal box marked Reeves Foundation, 1958. Inside were folders, photographs, and blueprints. He opened one and froze. They weren't building plans. They were records detailing illegal land seizures, false contracts, forged signatures, proof that the corporations who destroyed Eleanor had stolen half the city from its people. Sam's hands trembled. She wasn't just trying to save her name, he whispered. She was trying to expose them. Baxter barked softly, tail low. Yeah, buddy. This ain't treasure, it's a confession. He stuffed the files into his backpack. We can't let this rot down here. But as he turned, footsteps echoed above. The metallic clank of boots on the stairs made his stomach tighten. Too late, he muttered. A man's voice cut through the darkness. Thought we'd lost you, Turner. The same thugs from before, only now with reinforcements. Hand it over, the leader growled. You have no idea what you're holding. Sure I do, Sam said. The truth, the man smirked. Truth doesn't pay the bills, old man. Neither does selling your soul, Sam snapped. Then the first shot rang out. Bullets ricocheted off the concrete. Sam ducked behind a pillar, pulling Baxter close. Stay, he whispered. He scanned the room pipes overhead, a leaking valve. An idea sparked. He grabbed a wrench from his belt and slammed it into the valve. Steam hissed out, clouding the air. The men coughed, disoriented. Sam moved fast, using the fog as cover. He swung the wrench, dropped one man, kicked another into a wall. But the leader grabbed his arm, forcing the gun toward him. They struggled, faces inches apart. "You could have been rich," the man hissed. "You could have had everything." Sam gritted his teeth. "I already do." He twisted the man's wrist until the gun clattered to the floor. With one final push, he sent him sprawling into the steam. The man didn't get up. Silence filled the chamber, broken only by the hiss of pipes. Sam leaned against the wall, breathing hard. "Let's get out of here, boy," he rasped, "before this place comes down." By dawn, they reached the surface, soaked and exhausted. Sam delivered the files straight to Margaret. She stared in disbelief as she flipped through the pages. This could expose everyone who ruined her. "Then you know what to do," Sam said. "Put it out there. They'll come after you," she warned. He smiled faintly. "They already did." She nodded slowly, tears glinting. "You're something else, Sam Turner. Just a guy who got tired of running," he said softly. Within a week, the story broke across every network. Eleanor Reeves vindicated. After 30 years, the evidence Sam recovered brought down several powerful figures. The city called it the truth beneath the streets. Reporters tried to find him, but he vanished quietly, just as Eleanor once had. Only Margaret knew where he'd gone back to his workshop by the river, where the world was small, quiet, and finally his. One evening, as the sun bled into the water, Margaret visited him. "You could have had fame, fortune," she said softly. "Why disappear?" Sam smiled. "Because people like me aren't built for spotlights. I just fix what's broken, even if it's not mine." She laughed gently. "And what about you? Still broken?" He looked at Baxter, asleep at his feet. "Not anymore." She placed a small box on his table. "From the foundation. Consider it a thank you." Inside were 2 silver dog tags, one engraved with Baxter, the other with Sam Turner, Honorary Partner, Reeves Foundation. His eyes misted. "Don't reckon I ever had a title before," he murmured. "Well," she said with a smile, "it suits you." After she left, Sam sat for a long time, listening to the soft hum of the city outside. He thought of the storage auction, the rusted lock, the letter that started it all. "Funny how $38 can change a life," he whispered. Baxter wagged his tail. Yeah. You can say I told you so." That night, he took one last walk through the streets he once called home. The same alleys, the same corners, only now he wasn't invisible. People nodded, smiled, even recognized him from the news. A little boy offered him a sandwich. "You helped the lady on TV?" the boy said. Sam smiled gently. "Something like that." He gave the sandwich to another man sleeping nearby. "Pass it on, pal," he said. The city, for all its cruelty, had given him something back to purpose. And as he walked past the gleaming Reeves Tower, a new plaque caught his eye near the entrance. "Dedicated to those who have nothing, yet give everything." Below it, smaller letters read, "In honor of Sam Turner and his loyal companion Baxter." He chuckled softly. "Well, look at that, boy. We're part of the skyline." He returned to his workshop, where the air smelled of oil and rain. He built small gadgets for stray shelters, fixed broken heaters, donated what little he earned. He didn't need wealth. He'd already found something more valuable belonging. Baxter's fur had turned grayer, his steps slower, but his eyes still bright. Sam scratched behind his ears. "You and me, partner, we did all right." Years passed quietly. The city changed again, new buildings, new faces, but the legend of the homeless man who uncovered the truth lived on. Schools told his story. The Reeves Foundation built a community center in his name. And sometimes, late at night, people swore they saw an old man walking his dog by the river, humming softly. One summer evening, the sunset spilled gold across the water. Sam sat on the bench with Baxter beside him, both silent, both content. "You know," he said, smiling faintly, "for two strays, we didn't do too bad." Baxter rested his head on Sam's knee. The city lights flickered to life, one by one, like stars finding their way home. When the night finally settled, the wind carried the sound of gentle laughter through the streets. Somewhere far above, in the heart of the skyline, the words still shone under the Reeves Tower lights, for those who had nothing and gave everything. And though time would fade the stories, one truth would always remain, that a man the world forgot once found gold not in riches, but in redemption.